Today, we are diving deep into the biology of resistance. We're going to talk about why your brain seems to fight you every single time you try to do something difficult.
You know that feeling, right? You sit down, you're ready to tackle a big project, and then bam, your chest gets tight, your stomach does a little flip. It feels like this invisible physical wall just slammed down right in front of you.
But here is the most important thing to get from all this. That feeling isn't a character flaw. It's not you being lazy or undisciplined. It's actually a biological function. It's your brain running a very old program that it thinks is keeping you safe. Okay, first things first, let's talk about that wall you feel. Because it's not just in your head, it is absolutely real. That sensation is a shared human experience. It's a genuine physiological response happening in your body. So now, let's get into the science of why it happens. So, why does it happen? Well, it all comes down to your brain's ancient, hardwired survival mode. See, your brain's number one job, above everything else, is to conserve energy. From a survival point of view, effort is incredibly expensive. It's a precious resource. So your brain is basically constantly, in the background, asking one question. Is there an easier way to do this?
And this really shows that default setting perfectly. Scrolling social media costs almost nothing. Setting for a big exam, that's a huge energy expense. Your brain isn't making a moral judgment here. It's just following its prime directive: stay comfortable, avoid hard stuff, and save fuel.
But here's where things get kind of mixed up in our modern world. Your brain starts to misinterpret a simple, high-effort task as a serious threat. This is kind of wild when you think about it. Your body honestly doesn't know the difference between staring down a predator and staring at a blank page for a report you have to write. It triggers the exact same chemical response, a flood of adrenaline and cortisol, getting you ready for fight or flight. And this threat response, it usually kicks in before you even start doing anything. There's a psychological term for it: effort prediction error. It's when your brain looks at a task in the future and just wildly overestimates how much energy and pain it's going to cost. You're not reacting to the work itself. You're reacting to the idea of the work. So let's walk through how this happens. First, you face a high-effort task. Then, your brain makes that effort prediction error, making it seem like this huge, impossible mountain to climb. That activates your body's threat response. And since you can't exactly fight or run away from a spreadsheet, your body chooses the third option: it freezes. And what happens after that surge of stress hormones fades away? You're left with what's best described as a cortisol hangover. You know that feeling, that foggy, totally drained state where everything feels like you're wading through wet sand. That's not laziness. That's the biochemical aftermath of your body thinking it was in danger. And this all leads to a giant paradox when it comes to motivation. We've all been taught to think we need to find motivation to get started. But your brain's chemistry works the complete opposite way. So the myth is that motivation comes first and then you take action. But the science, it shows we have it completely backwards. You have to take action first. The act of doing something, even something small, is what triggers the release of dopamine, the reward chemical that then fuels more action. So let's be super clear about dopamine. It's not the starter fuel. It's the reward you get after you've already started moving. This is exactly why starting is the hardest part. Your brain is waiting for a chemical pat on the back that it hasn't earned yet. And for anyone dealing with burnout or ADHD, their baseline dopamine levels might be lower, which makes that initial push feel even more impossible. Okay, so we understand the problem. The brain sees a task, thinks it's a threat, and hits the brakes. So how do we work with our biology to flip that switch and get going? Well, the secret is not about gritting your teeth and using more willpower. That's like trying to win a fight against your own immune system. The real strategy is to make the task so small, so completely non-threatening, that you basically sneak right past your brain's alarm system. And the difference is massive. Clean the entire kitchen? That's a threat, and your brain freaks out. But just pick up one item? Your brain barely even registers that. Write the whole report feels overwhelming. But just open the document? That's so small that the resistance just melts away, and suddenly you've started.
So this really all boils down to 3 core principles. 1, lower the entry point so you bypass the threat response. 2, reward yourself for the simple act of showing up, not just for finishing. This trains your brain that starting is a good thing. And 3, when you feel that resistance, meet it with patience, not with criticism. Beating yourself up just reinforces the idea that this is a threatening situation.
And I think this is such a powerful way to reframe this entire experience. You weren't avoiding work because you're weak or lazy. You were avoiding what your brain perceived as a danger it didn't understand was actually safe. It's just a simple misunderstanding, not some deep character flaw. So I want to leave you with a question to think about. Now that you know how your brain is wired, what's that one hard thing in your life that consistently sends your brain into that protective freeze mode? Because just understanding the why behind it is the absolute first step to changing your response.